Hi everyone, welcome to the Glasgow Clubbing Podcast. My name is Soban,
My name's Nick.
and today we are extremely honoured to welcome what we deem to be an absolute legend. Now, we've had a few legends already on the podcast, but we are sure you would agree that this is a legend amongst legends. We are very pleased to welcome Nicky Stewart to the Glasgow Clubbing Podcast.
Hiya, how you doing?
All right, Dad.
Good to hear from everybody.
And just to tell everyone, this is a special one because it's actually Nick's dad.
As indeed, yeah.
Okay.
So shall we just get into this then? So basically, I think it's probably best to kick off. Nick, just tell us where you're from and what it was like growing up, and your early musical influences.
Well, just a Glasgow boy, brought up over on the south side. But my mum and dad had the second-hand clothes shops, the shop market, the Briggett.
Right.
So therefore I was brought up in this area, absolutely this area. And because my mum and dad were involved in second-hand clothes, I was a wee bit young and a wee bit obsessed with clothes.
Right.
Quite honestly, I mean, probably unnecessarily so, but that's just the way it was.
So that's where it came from then?
Yeah, from my mum and dad, not from myself. From my mum and dad, because that's what they done for a living. So, there you have it. But this area, the Briggett, Top Market, the Barras, and here.
Can you tell us, can you tell us when you were born?
1949.
1949, right? And can you tell us what was, so we're in the south side?
Kings Park.
Kings Park.
And went to Holyrood School.
Did you?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what it was like in the
No, it was a
50s?
good school. No, nothing to tell you about. The only thing is, I don't think I was very clever, and I was brought up to go out and work.
Right.
You know, so I mean, as soon as I reached 15, I was out of there. Similarly, I was quite a good artist. I was acknowledged as being not bad. Wasn't too bad at football. You know what I mean? So, but I was never going to stay at school, ever, because my mum and dad didn't bring me up like that. I was out earning a living when I was 15. Simple as that. So there you are.
In your parents' shop?
Yeah, no, I worked as a motor mechanic.
Did you?
Right away. I worked for my brother. He had a wee garage, quite near Celtic Park actually, and he was a brilliant motor mechanic. And he sort of taught me. I was quite good. I'm a motor mechanic by trade. I couldn't change a tyre now, you know, because it's all changed. But that's actually what I done. And I miss that. I must admit, being a motor mechanic was great. Great job. So, there you are.
So what was the first sort of music
Well,
that started coming into your life?
right. Well, that's quite simple, I think. I liked Del Shannon
Uh-huh.
and I liked Dwayne Eddy
Yeah.
when I was young. I didn't like people like Conway Twitty and people like that. I didn't get them.
Would this have been the sort of...
62.
So this would still be skiffle?
Just at the end of Skiffle, I got Lonnie Donegan, etc.
Uh-huh.
But I must confess to it was okay. But I liked it when it went to Dwayne Eddy and Del Shannon and there was a bit of guitar there. And that sort of got me going a little bit, you know. And then that moved on very quickly into maybe 1960, maybe very early 63. And me and my pal Jim Stevenson, great guy, and still a good friend, I'm glad to say, still going strong, heard, I don't know, probably Radio Luxembourg or something like that, or the pirate radios, I don't know, but we heard Jane Brown, and we heard Booker T, the MGs, and I went down to Gloria's Record Bar in Battlefield Road and bought, at dinner time from school, Jim bought Booker T and I bought James Brown.
So these were the first sort of rhythm and blues records coming into Glasgow?
And we didn't know them, we'd never heard them. And it was a Jewish couple that had the Glorias, lovely people, and their son brought out a record box, and I mean it was like just that length, with maybe 20 records in it.
Uh-huh.
And he said, have a look through that. I remember we looked through it and I said, what about that? And you'll like that. And it was Louisiana Red, Get Your Hands Off My Woman. I remember being 13 and buying it. You know what I mean? And Jim bought, I think, a Howlin' Wolf record that day.
Yeah.
And that was us.
Which was like a huge influence.
That was it, all over.
And that would have been the time that these records would have been influencing bands like the Stones.
Exactly. I mean, I don't think, to this day, I don't think the Rolling Stones, even though they're superstars, don't get the credit they deserve.
Yeah.
You know, the bravest record in the world was Little Red Rooster. They were not superstars at that time, and yet they recorded Little Red Rooster. I mean, seriously, that could have died and they could have been finished there and then, and they recorded it. Brian Jones, Keith Richards, Charlie Watts, Bill Wyman, Brian Jones, Mick Jagger. Amazing. And I remember being 14 and me and Jim, I don't know how we could afford it, but I had a sort of wee part-time job when I had already, I think it was 12 Johnny Hooker LPs.
When you were 14?
Aye.
Yeah.
Yeah. Already 14. I mean, that's ridiculous.
So you'd already started to collect records at an early age.
And Jim had the same.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was like, I mean, they were literally obsessed. Literally obsessed.
So how did that lead on to, so for there, when was the first sort of clubs or concerts that you went to then?
Well, it wasn't concerts, Nick. It really wasn't. What it was the Maryland in Scott Street.
Where would that be now?
Well, that would be just down from the art school, and it became the Cotton Club many years later.
Right.
So maybe people might know it as that.
Yeah.
And we used to go and see Herbie Goyne and the Night Timers, Jimmy James and the Vagabonds, Graham Bond Organisation, Ginger Bruce and Jack Bruce. That was the two guys in it. Gino Washington.
Yeah.
That's who we used to go and see, and it was fabulous. It was just great.
And what sort of size of a venue?
What?
What sort of size of a venue?
Like this, and then another bit the same.
We're in McChuills, by the way.
Sorry, pardon me.
No,
Pardon me,
to get other people to get an idea of sound.
Yeah. So it was like, it was great DJs, and I think Margaret would confirm this. Guys dance with guys. We danced together, and you didn't really dance with girls. Girls seemed to dance on their own. It was like a wee bit of a mod thing, I suppose, that you danced in a wee group yourselves. And the Maryland was sort of the Fleet went to it, and they were very good dressers. The Fleet were good
So that
dressers.
would be the Mary Hill Fleet.
The Mary Hill Fleet were very good dressers. And the girls were good dressers as well. So I think the best in Glasgow. And we went in any gang or any that, but the guys were always nice. They never gave us any grief. They liked us because we were part of it all.
Yeah. See, when you're saying good dressers, right, are we talking about kind of mods?
Yeah,
and
early mods.
When did mod culture kind of kick off?
64.
64, and...
Maybe 63. I remember my brother Davy was quite a beatnik. Like, he would wear black polo necks, and, you know what I mean? And my mum and dad thought that he looked silly, you know, but that was it. And I remember being quite impressed by it, you know, and that quickly moved on to mods. People kind of don't give them the credit. Beatniks were cool. Yeah. You know.
So I mean, was it just, did you just stay in Glasgow or did you travel outside?
Well, we stayed in Glasgow because that was we were young. But I don't know. I mean, it is a big deal, quite honestly. It is a big deal. But I swear, we never thought anything of it. And me and Jim used to go down to London on a Friday night after school.
On the train?
Yeah. And you would go and they would let you off in the morning, but you were allowed to stay in the train until I think about 8 o'clock, 8:30 in the morning. Even though it got there at 7, you weren't thrown off. You were allowed to stay in it for a while and then they put you out. And we just wandered about until maybe 8 or 9 o'clock at night, and you went to
So
The Flamenco.
So the Flamingo Club, so the Flamingo Club was a pivotal club.
Yeah, without a doubt.
It later turned, and that was in Soho. It later
Yes.
turned, maybe people would know it as the WAG Club as
Correct.
well.
Ministry of Sound?
No,
No.
that was in the south. But
Sorry. Yeah, on you go.
but just to explain a wee bit about that, this was a club that mostly Black American GIs frequented, that were stationed in the south of England, and they would bring over the new R&B records.
Correct.
Yeah.
Absolutely correct.
see, before
sorry.
you continue, sorry, right?
Yeah.
I really want to go back to you going down to London at 15, right?
Right, okay.
Going down to London at 15. I mean, this was 1960.
14 actually.
14, sorry.
It's 1963.
1963.
Yeah, 63 into 64.
Yeah.
Can you tell us, right, what it was like when you got off the train, right, and you went to Soho and stuff like that at 15 in 1963 or whatever?
Well,
Can you paint that picture? Because obviously it's a well documented time, right? But you're obviously going down very early in the 60s, right?
Yeah.
Paint that picture for me, because I really want to know what that's like.
Because I mean, had mods started by
Yes.
then? They were the mods up here in 1963.
Yeah.
Started to, right, okay.
Yeah. 64 it sort of took hold.
Mhm.
But yeah, 63 there was a smattering.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, see when you got down there, I mean, the whole vibe of London at that time must have just blown your mind, surely.
Was it like the Austin Powers film?
I mean,
Swinging 60s?
tell us what it was like.
I can go on to that a wee bit later about Austin Powers, right?
What was it like getting there?
Well, getting there, but we just went down the train. I know it sounds a bit dramatic now, but it's nothing. I'll tell you the biggest culprit of the lot was my sister Betty, God rest her, who was married and used to cover and say, "Oh, Nick and Jim are just coming up. They're going to stay the weekend and play records in my house."
You were in London.
And you went to London?
I got away. My mum and dad were from the Salt Market, wages of Clyde. Nobody fooled them, and yet we were getting away with that, going down to London. I mean, it's ridiculous when you think it. But we thought nothing of it, because we weren't up then.
Yeah.
But we're wondering about Soho.
I mean, what
I thought end of it.
was Soho like when you first arrived?
It was just full of bombs, I suppose. I mean, really, I suppose it was. I would have said, even at the time, we tweaked it a little bit. A lot of lonely people down there. You know, and even though we were only maybe 13 and 14, 15, not 13, 14, 15, we sort of, we did realise they were lonely. We weren't stupid. We realised they were lonely people. I suppose people tried to pick you up even, and we just never thought anything of it. Aye, right, you know. And, yeah, I mean, because they were from Glasgow and we weren't stupid, you know what I mean? So, there you go. But it wasn't sanitised, it was quite
Raw.
nice wild, if you know what I mean. Does that make sense? It wasn't sanitised and everything like big business make money. Just record shops. It's like the best cigar shop in the world was in it, just off Water Street, Old Compton Road. Fabulous cigar shop. I remember loving it. I ended up smoking cigars. You know what I mean? But not then, obviously. So that was the beginning. And you would go down and you would go in and go to the Flamenco Club.
Yeah.
And upstairs was the Whiskey a Go-Go.
So what was that? What was the difference?
A little bit more expensive and a wee bit posher. We saw Rufus Thomas in there. And he was very good with Brian Auger probably playing his backup. And downstairs we went to sometimes a place called the Scots of St James, which was again a wee bit posher again. Great club. And we used to, because Rolling Stones went to the Small Faces, never saw them once, but they seemingly went to it at night. But we did see, what was the Tory MP with the hair?
Michael Heseltine.
We saw him there, he was nice. We didn't know who he was, but we found out later on, and I see it later on, he was dead nice man, quite cool, good dancer. And he always had gorgeous girls with them.
Mm-hmm.
Not for us. You know what I mean? Not for us. Gorgeous girls, you know. And we were quite impressed with that. Scotch of St James, great club.
See the Flamingo Club, and
Yeah.
I've tried to read a bit about it, whatnot. I mean, I read that the sound was really good. Do you recall? This?
Well, I'll go back and say this again. We were young. It wasn't very interesting. We just listened to the music.
Yeah.
The sound was good. Maybe I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
There you go. It was, but we watched the. Well, not now. I'm an old man now, but back in the day, I wasn't a bad dancer, and Jim was good. So we would watch the Black Boys and dance like them, and we picked it up quick.
So are these American GIs?
No, they were just Black Boys. I mean, it was literally the
From
Pop
London.
Black Boys.
Right.
And they were brilliant dressed. There was, I mean, quite a few white guys there, don't get me wrong, but it was the Black Boys that led it. Definitely. And they were really cool looking, mod dressed. Brilliant. And they were dead nice to us, never gave us the remotest bit of grief. But it was their club for a while. And we would go down and they were very accepting, but nonetheless it was, the music was great. That was the first we ever heard ska.
Right.
Remember being there the night we heard it? God, never heard anything like it. 2 weeks later, 3 weeks later, maximum, we were playing it in the Maryland.
So what's ska records?
I know I'm maybe going to make this up because I'm trying to think, but I'm pretty certain it was changed to Scavo. I'm pretty certain that was the first one we ever heard.
Yeah.
But I could be wrong saying that. But it was certainly the Scatolites. It wasn't British ska. It was the real deal.
Yeah.
Like Bill Drummond and all these boys.
Yeah.
You know, the real deal, you know. There was a lot of great, I mean, it was all really good soul music. And not northern soul music. Really, really good. And then there was suddenly this ska sort of showed up, and that was getting played a lot, you know. So there you go with that as well. And that was we went down as well. We went down. We saw Solomon Burke in the Marquee Club. He came on stage carried in a chair and a golden throne. It was just all nonsense. It was great, and he was fabulous, man. Solomon Burke, Rufus Thomas, Johnny Hooker, Charlie and Inez Fox. You know what I mean? Really, when you think it, you know. I'm not saying you took it for granted, but you never thought it was anything special. Because it was just
The amount of
that
influence.
record collection back in the day. It's ridiculous. I remember buying I Put a Spell on You in maybe 1964 at the latest by Nina Simone in a record shop in Blackpool. You know what I mean? And the original, I've still got it in the house, the original copy. I Put a Spell on You.
Yeah.
So, Nina Simone.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Johnny Hooker, I mean, we managed to see Johnny Hooker in, kidding on, in a pub in High Wycombe. We went down to see somebody, I can't remember who it was, Jim and me, and we went by the big poster, Johnny Hooker, and that was our hero. Johnny Hooker and Howlin' Wolf were our heroes. That's how we didn't like the Beatles and all that crap. You know what I mean?
Controversial?
Well, not crap. They were a studio band. You know what I mean? I mean, they were good. I mean, I'm not that silly saying crap. They were crap. But, you know, I saw them live twice. Trust me, they're done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And we went down to see Johnny Hooker. And sure enough, he showed up in the bar. Beautiful dress. Big cufflinks, always remember. And he was drinking bourbon. It was probably Jack Daniels in those days. There was nothing else. And he was very nice. He had a terrible stutter. But he didn't stutter when he played. And he was upstairs. And the manager of the pub literally came upstairs and actually, dead nice, he wasn't being cheeky, dead nice, he said, I've got to pull the plug in this. He would have played all night. He pulled the plug to stop it. That's a fact. Johnny Hooker. Who the hell's seen Johnny Hooker?
Yeah.
What the hell?
So obviously that's happening in London, but I mean, and
they were coming up to Glasgow.
They were coming to Glasgow as well. So I mean, there was a sort of a sort of timeline, really, of just really a few weeks, where some the records that would hit London were actually finding their way to the DJs in Glasgow.
That's a fact. I'm guessing, because I did go to the Twisted Wheel in Manchester a couple of times, right?
Right, so the Twisted Wheel, that's an extremely pivotal club.
Yeah.
So what year was the Twisted Wheel?
That would be a bit later, 65 maybe.
So it's, just for obviously,
66,
we've spoke about it in the podcast before, but the Twisted Wheel probably later would have been the first kind of recognised, or one of the first recognised Northern Soul clubs.
Yeah.
Where they stuck to the soul and started searching for more kind of rarer records
Yeah.
to play.
Yeah.
Just to explain.
No, you're right. You're right. Although I think when we went, if I remember rightly, it wouldn't have been Northern Soul by that time.
No, but the thing
a
about
bit later.
but because the thing is, if we're talking from 63, 64, 65,
66.
66, then the soul records, there was a lot coming out, and there was a lot that were hits or club hits. It was at the later date that when they ran out,
Yeah.
and people started searching back for
Correct.
these kind of tracks,
Correct.
that would have
That's true.
came through
That's true.
and started to get played in the
Yeah.
Twisted Wheel.
I'm guessing, but I always thought, I would guess it would have been the Flamingo. A week or 2 weeks later, the Twisted Wheel Club. A week or 2 weeks later, Maryland.
Yeah.
It just worked its way up.
Yeah.
So, we were well ahead of the game compared to most clubs in London, but not ahead of the game to the Flamingo. You follow me?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there was clubs down in London. The 100 Club gets a great reputation. And I know there's Clash played there and everything, and great with the 101ers, brilliant, right? But honestly, when we went by it, a bloody embarrassment, the nick of them. You know what I mean? Union Jack jackets and all that.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
So
they were a joke.
So that sort of style of mods that came a bit later.
Yeah.
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 So when would the sort of Who style of mods?
Well, I think by the time it hit the end of 66, it sort of died for a lot of the original mods. Because the original mods are fairly conservative, nice knitwear, button-down collars, just really nice clothes, right? And then it went a bit dandy. And when it went dandy, I'm not knocking it. I don't want anybody to think I'm saying, I don't like, but it wasn't for us.
How did it change?
It went dandy. It went that Austin Powers look. I don't know. Psychedelic.
So
Psychedelic.
When psychedelics
got
involved, it kind of changed it in some way? Or?
Well, Jimi Hendrix came about.
Yeah.
I loved Jimi Hendrix, loved him, right? And every good mod loved him. But nonetheless, he changed the style of a mod. And they became that sort of slightly hippified and, wearing army stuff, that naff. You know what I mean? Just naff. You know what I mean? I think, I'm sorry, probably end up people going, that's terrible. But just for us.
No, that's it,
Just the way it is, Nick,
Absolutely, I mean, it's the same with any scene, certainly if you're in at the very start of a scene, there's a sort of, if you're young, there's a sort of timeline, where the scene becomes big and you just opt out of it,
It's a wee bit snobbish in my part.
Well, that's what mods were.
But yeah. However, I will say this, and I'm very serious. I know everything's changed now and the world opened up, but at the time, for about 10 years, I'll tell you, mods brought music to us all. I remember a girl saying to us, have you heard of a guy called Jimmy Smith? No. Hold on, and I'll play a record for you. He worked in a record shop. And Jim and I couldn't believe it. The organist. Never heard anything like it in their life. And it was basically jazz, but sort of funky soul jazz. And all of a sudden, it opened up. Well, that was mods who've done that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think mods, beatniks, mods, casuals. I think casuals I've got a direct responsibility to acknowledge mods. I think.
Yeah.
But not the dandy mod.
Well, the in between that,
you dressed very nice.
Well, you
quite conservative and nice. You know what I mean?
But I would say that there was also a timeline with the original sort of skinhead look. Do you know what I mean? Moving after mods, because that was the younger one, which carried through basically working class boys. and girls looking as
Absolutely.
smart, look more
I was
expensive
just
than
too old
they
for all
actually.
that.
Yeah.
But I mean, you certainly spotted it. Yeah, I mean, you definitely spotted it. Well, I'm no daft. You spotted it.
That
Those
change
boys
in
and girls,
style.
like the ska boys and
Yeah.
girls from came from Birmingham, was it? Is that true? A lot.
Well, I think they were I think they were right across Britain, really,
Yeah.
to be honest. You know, obviously, but primarily, I guess it would have came with working class boys. You know, living close to Jamaican influences
Yeah.
and been influenced by the music.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and one of the things which is lost is that the original Skinheads were not racist at
Absolutely
all.
not. No,
They were
the
absolutely the very opposite.
The very
of it.
opposite.
Yeah.
I remember going to see one of the class gigs. Just I'm changing it slightly, but and the specials were support. I actually went to see Suicide. Actually, right,
From
but
New
that's
York.
not the point. Right?
Mm.
And Terry Hall, who I know through Jerry Vavasur, my nephew, who's a lovely man, said, "Come on stage." I said, "Right, Glasgow, this is something you aren't used to. White men and black men playing music together, and they get dog just for it, right? Because you want to go that stupid talk like that, you know."
Mm-hmm.
Although, but they were bloody good, by the way, the specials. Yeah, I mean, I think they were called the Coventry Automatics at that time.
Yeah,
I
before the Coventry special.
Yeah, or the Coventry special,
Yeah.
maybe, yeah.
So-
Sorry, that's just changing direction a little bit, you know, sorry.
So you obviously went to London.
You can go back again if you
No,
want.
no. So you obviously were going to London a lot, isn't it? Yeah.
Quite a lot, yeah.
Quite a lot.
Yeah.
And like, can you paint the picture of how clubs changed in Glasgow throughout the 60s? I mean, what was?
No, I couldn't, because
You went.
I went to one club, the Maryland.
Is that
And
it?
yeah, more or less, that was your club, that was your where you went. And you went to the...
You're telling me the other night. There was other clubs you went to, but
Well, I suppose so. I went to the Elizabethan club.
oh,
Aye,
like
okay.
during the week, aye. I mean, I know it's a main club, but there was other clubs
Aye,
that you went to during
Was
the
it
week.
for Saturday night you went
Aye.
to?
Yeah,
But
Friday, Saturday, you went there.
Right.
But anyway, no, we went to the Elizabethan club, and
Where was that?
that was actually at the Cloud side,
Mm-hmm.
right next to the St Andrew's Cathedral. And it was a trade union place
Uh-huh.
that they opened up upstairs and made it a wee club.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really good. And they weren't interested in music. It was bands they put on, and it was always, the Steam Packet show.
Uh-huh.
Brian Auger. It was on Rod Stewart, fantastic. Julie Disco, fantastic. Long John Baldry, my personal favourite.
Yeah.
Right? I thought it was just magnificent, right? And they would show up every 2 or 3 weeks and play there, so you would go and watch that, and it was always good.
Mm-hmm.
Brian Auger was super talented, you know what I mean? And he always did great. Somebody was saying, I didn't see him. Somebody said Elton John played with him sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't witness that, and maybe I did, and I didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe I didn't know.
Yeah.
Because you've got to remember, all these things were happening when you were young, and it wasn't precious.
it's just
Right?
happening.
It was just happening. I mean, I brought a record collection that, you couldn't bloody buy. And you never thought of it. You get one, I'll give you that. You give them a record. You know what I mean? You never thought, well, that's a wonderful record, I'm going to keep it. It was just another record you bought because you were young. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
That's true, Nick.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
See, just talking about Glasgow there. I'm kind of interested to kind of know about where you would go buy, clothes. Like, what shops? What about, what are the places to go to? Can you recall?
Well, I was lucky because I got a lot of things second hand.
Right.
So I was a wee bit ahead of it. My mum and dad, I've still got some stuff. And it was all, maybe the old Jewish boys from White Craigs
Mm-hmm.
that were giving up their clothes.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd knitwear that nobody had.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But there was a few shops down in London, Take 5, I think it was called, or Take 6, can't remember now. And Ravel and all that sort of stuff that you would maybe buy bits and pieces. nice jackets, nice coat. You know the Manfred, can you remember the Manfred Man?
Mm-hmm.
The collar that were up and buttoned down like corduroy?
Mm-hmm.
You would buy them, maybe.
Right.
And Shane Hayes was good back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. So you went there and you bought maybe down in London a bit. But I was very lucky because I got stuff from my mum.
Yeah. Because they
being honest,
second-hand
you
clothes.
know,
Yeah.
my mum used to say, your dad's the best dressed man in Glasgow. And so my dad was. And you took it for granted. You never thought.
Yeah.
It was beautiful knitwear you've ever seen.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there was a wee shop in London Road, quite near Celtic Park actually. It was opened up by a guy who called himself Justin. His name was not Justin, by the way. He must have read it. Somebody cool in London was called Justin. He called himself Justin. He went to Justin. My sister used to go to him.
Mm-hmm.
Maureen, I think it was. And but he had good taste. He always great clothes. And we went down. Oh, I remember this. We went down, and behind Carnaby Street,
Uh-huh.
there's a sort of lane, but it's like a broad lane. And we went up. We'd read about it. And we went up. You went up a wee step, turned left, and the doors opened up. And it was the guy Stevens, the Glasgow guy that had all the shops in Carnaby Street.
Okay.
What was his name?
No idea.
Right, okay, I forget names.
I wasn't there.
Right. And he had maybe 4 or 5 things hanging up.
Yeah.
I remember I bought a pair of high-waisted flare trousers. Don't know what for, but I did. And my pal Jim bought a flowery...
Did you regret them?
Aye.
Did you?
Yeah.
So there was sort of fashion faux pas?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Jim bought a flowery shirt. And I remember he regretted that. Right? And we bought a kipper tie each. And we both regretted that. But it was good. It was a Glasgow boy that went down. What was his name? John Stevens. He opened up literally, I'm telling you, 6 months later, he'd opened up the whole of Carnaby Street.
Right.
And that's when you see photos of mods. You see films.
Yeah.
It was a Glasgow. I think actually it was a Paisley boy, actually.
Right. Okay.
And he opened up down there. And his sister, I remember we looked in and they were working in the back, just making stuff. And it was literally 1, 2 things at a time. And he owned, and he was a brilliant
They
dresser.
were making them.
I met them.
Right.
I suppose eventually he must have had factory or something like that.
Right.
But it was, and they were quite good. But within 6 months he had that, and then 6 months later, it was Union Jack mugs and a lot of tat.
Yeah.
And it was just for the tourists, fair enough. You know what I mean? But it came sitting off, and it was like other places like Take 6, etc., that were the cool places. You know what I mean? There was a guy that used to bring in shirts, Ivy League shirts from America, button-down collars, a beautiful man. And Jim bought one. Jim's was yellow with blue stripe button down, and mine was pink with yellow button down.
So this would be the kind of influence of the shop. I forget its name. I think it was going till recently, but it was. So this was mods taking the look from America, basically, kind of.
Two things done it, Nick. I think there was another shop called Harry Fenton's, if I remember rightly. But there was 2 people we took it from. One was Italian knitwear.
Yeah.
Brilliant. And the other thing was Ivy League.
Yeah.
America.
Yeah.
But that was the button-down collar and the collar, with the pin through it and all that sort of stuff. And those Ivy League jackets.
Yeah.
Which they went out of fashion quite quick, but for a while they were cool and they were nice. And we hadn't seen stuff like that before. So it was the Ivy League and the Italian knitwear, the best.
Yeah.
Probably still is, actually.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that was where if you were lucky enough, but I was lucky because my mum and dad would get stuff like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
How long did your mum and dad have their shop in?
Forever.
Yeah.
But my grandmother had it before them, just second-hand clothes.
And it was just down.
Just down at the Brigade.
Down at the
And then at Salt Market.
Yeah.
Just down the road.
Salt Market was a market.
And my auntie had...
When did it close?
It would have been in the 2000s.
Yeah.
Yeah, Paddy's Market
I
as
remember
well.
my dad coming in. I think it was a Friday night, said, "Oh son, I've got terrible news for you." I was going, "Oh, what is it, Dad?" you know that boy you like? What's his name? He's a guitarist. I said, oh, Jimi Hendrix. Oh, son, he's dead. Remember? And my dad was upset for me. Because not because I cared less about Jimi Hendrix, but he knew how much he meant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I would go, God, you know, I
Yeah.
remember that. Clear as could be. You know?
Yeah.
Aye.
So then,
Right.
so, I mean, how did the music then start to change, or how did actually your musical taste start to kind of branch out?
Well, first of all, I went from Bosch Lighting, Jimi Hendrix, and then Jimi Hendrix, Otis Redding, obviously. Otis Redding was huge.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad to say I saw him 2 or 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
And he was magnificent. And it was the first I saw. He was hugely entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, he was dead serious, a bit like the Pogues, deadly serious about his music. But he also saw it as entertainment. So he would sing Pain in My Heart, and he would have 20 times he was exited, like James Brown, man coming on with a big tape to take him off the stage, heartbroken, singing Pain in My Heart, and he's thrown it off and back again, singing and going down in his knees. So it was like, it was a caricature of Theater Nick. But my goodness, could they boys play? Oh, jeez. Yeah, I mean, they were the boys. If you were in Otis Redding's band, the only place you could go was down, maybe James Brown. They were the 2 boys. But anywhere after that, no matter how good you were, it was slightly down from the 2 boys. That's how good the musicianship was. Unbelievable.
So how did your music taste start to change out of soul, or as it moved?
Right. Well, actually, I know it sounds. My friend used to take me to see Yes, and I know they were super talented. Steve Howe, Rick Maitland, Jesus, Steve Howe, what a. But honestly, I just couldn't stand it. That sort of.
Which was a kind of prog rock.
Yeah, I just couldn't stand it. You know, even though I'm not stupid, I knew they were super talented, but no for me. And then punk came, and I wasn't a big punk fan, I'll be perfectly honest. But it did change, and all of a sudden,
because I mean, you were a massive fan of the Velvet Underground.
Well, yeah,
and even Kraftwerk.
well,
You know, when did you first start? When did you first hear them?
well,
Where did you hear
I
them?
was a hardcore mod, if that's the right word to use, and I heard a song, and I think it was I Can't Stand It by a man. I'd never heard of them before. It was called the Velvet Underground, and I couldn't believe it. I mean, I could not believe how good it was. And I just checked them out, but I wasn't obsessed. But I went, oh, this is a bit different. You know what I mean?
What year would that have been?
Oh, I don't know, 68?
Velvet Underground, yeah.
68? I think so.
I remember he's not, is it? I think it, yeah.
Yeah,
We'll say 68, but we'll check.
Yeah, well, it didn't matter, but about then. And it was wonderful. And although I didn't suddenly become Velvet Underground obsessed, that was the start. I know a lot of people
Just
don't
hearing
like
something different from, and especially a sound coming out of New York that was different.
Yeah.
And I mean, hugely influential on
everybody
coming out from punk into the indie scene. And
everybody.
Yeah.
And a lot of people think I make it up. Well, they don't think I make it up. They know I'm telling the truth, right? But I also heard about a boy called Jacques Brel. And to this day, he's the most perfect songwriter about relationships with men and women that I've ever heard in my life. So there was Hank Williams that I shouldn't have liked.
Yeah.
There was Lou Reed that I shouldn't have liked. And there was Jacques Brel that I shouldn't have liked. And I've got more records of them than everybody put together.
When did you first hear Kraftwerk?
What time would that have been? About 19... You would have been about 8?
Well, I can remember you having...
I never come home.
Well, I can remember you having Autobahn, which would have been, I think from memory, 1972, 1974.
Well, I remember what I'd done. I was driving home and it came on the radio and I drove home double
Autobahn.
quick and I stopped the car and I told you and Dom to come out and listen to this and you did. I remember you going like that.
I remember that.
I mean, I mean,
You loved it right away. I think Dom did
Still do.
too.
see when you heard that right now, obviously I wasn't about it, but see when you heard that, that must have sounded completely different.
Absolutely.
Anything that you had before.
There's
Absolutely.
nothing. I mean,
Nothing like it.
I mean, there is electronic music before then.
Yes. The Tornadoes.
Silver Apples, and but on the level of completeness of which Kraftwerk are, which still sound futuristic to this day. Nobody can compare with them.
I mean, I presume that's also the start of electronic.
Start of electronic music. Yeah.
I went to see them. And,
what year would that be?
well, that would be 2 or 3 years later. They played the Apollo. And they each of them had, there was 4 grey Mercedes parked outside the Apollo with parking tickets on them. And they drove them because they don't go in planes. They don't like flying. And they drove everywhere at the time. And it was, they came on stage. I've never heard anything like it in my life.
What was the stage show like? Was it just like a, see, obviously now there's stage shows.
It was just them playing.
Just them playing.
And they didn't, and it was, I hate to say it, no, I don't hate to say it, I like to say it. It was good. I love Lou Reed because he doesn't make an issue about playing guitar, even though it's actually it's more noise than anything else. But much of it is, I love Jimi Hendrix, you know, it was all that making love to a guitar work, and I think pretty pathetic, quite honestly. Kraftwerk made it the ordinary guys that didn't do very much look cool and were a bit sexy. Does that make sense?
So I mean, can you remember what album that would have been touring?
Yes, it would have been the Autobahn was the touring. It was the time Comet Melody was out and I'd bought it.
Right.
But it was actually the Autobahn tour.
That's very early. I mean, that must have been, check that as well, but maybe about 74, 75 possibly.
It was the Autobahn. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm interested in it because it's the Apollo, which was a legendary venue.
So the Apollo was where the Cineworld is right now.
Yeah.
That's where the Apollo was.
Yeah.
So, was it busy?
I think it was maybe sold out. But it was certainly busy. Yeah, I mean, definitely busy, absolutely.
Yeah.
No, I'm glad he's always been on the Mool.
Yeah.
Give it credit.
And see like their sound and the sounds which were influenced by them, was that starting to kind of filter into clubs at the time that you were going to? Or was it
I wasn't going to clubs at that time because I was...
Paid Wayne's.
And Wayne's, and then I got to the Mucky Duck maybe round about then. So no, it did not influence me in that respect. It's what I don't know, but I think places like Rooftops and all that, because all those bands came about.
Well, the Simple Minds
exactly.
came out of, I mean, the Simple Minds, who are actually playing tonight,
that's right,
are directly influenced from Kraftwerk records.
I was very fortunate. I got to meet Carol Bartos and talk to him for an hour, and I told him about the first experience, and I said, my 2 boys, I said, they got it right away, they were only kids. I said, Dom's loves yous, but Nick's a wee bit more obsessed even. You know what I mean? And then I met Emil Schultz. Emil Schultz.
Yeah.
I met him as well, and I bought that little bit of artwork off him. The loveliest man. Just a wee bit, you know. It's just like CDs with a bit of paint on them and all that, but you can play them. So it's quite witty, you know what I mean? And he wrote a wee bit of music. Carol Bartos wrote some music for me, that if you could play anything, you could play it on it.
Brilliant. So moving on from Kraftwerk, and then you did go to some of the first punk gigs. So what were they like? Because I saw, like, who did you see? The Apollo?
Well, I was very fortunate. I saw Blondie, who I'd been honest, I wasn't impressed by it at all, although good on her, a great girl. I like her, don't particularly her music, 2 different things. I saw Richard Hell, the Voidoids, who were sensational, and I saw Television, who were just out of this world. You know what I mean? And the next night, or the night before, I think it was the next night, was the Talking Heads of the Ramones.
Yeah.
And I heard about the Ramones, I quite liked them. but I actually wanted to hear the Talking Heads because I'd read about them, and they were, even back then, they were way out cats.
Oh,
You know, I don't know if I quite got them.
yeah.
Don't know.
What year would that have been? Sort of 70,
8.
78? Yeah.
Maybe, but no, it wouldn't have been because they hadn't done Psycho Killer.
Right.
Although they played it,
Ah,
a sort of version of it. So it would be maybe 76.
76,
maybe.
77.
Yeah.
Early.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then obviously the Clash, etc.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I mean the Clash was sensational. I thought. I mean, just I got them
Yeah.
right away. You know what I mean? And the specials were good, great. But I mean, no, I could have really cared less about them, I'll be perfectly honest, right?
I mean, I guess a band like the Specials hit a different generation.
Correct, Nick. Correct, Nick. A different generation and a different style.
Yeah.
Which is fine, brilliant. I mean, I'm not daft, I've tweaked the things, but by the same rule, that was it. But I was desperate to see Suicide because I'd read about them.
Yeah.
And they did not disappoint. They
So
were sensational.
So Suicide would have been an extremely influential New York band, New York noise, kind of electronic noise.
Correct.
But how did they go down with the Clash crowd?
Very badly. I mean, really very badly. They were. I mean, I know people talk about getting bottled in Scotland, Glasgow, and all that. And sometimes I go, aye, right, you know. But actually, they were bottled.
They were bottled off stage.
No, they never gave us on. They stayed.
Yeah.
They played a full set.
All right.
They were from New York. I don't think they were intimidated by Glaswegians.
Aye.
You know what I mean? No, they played their set from beginning to end.
Yeah.
They were sensational, but I think I might have been the only person that liked them, I'm not sure.
So, Nick, what I would like to hear about is the bar club that you opened up called the Mucky Duck. Right now, by doing this podcast, I've actually spoken to quite a lot of people, and quite honestly, the Mucky Duck keeps coming up in conversation. Right?
Yeah.
Now, can you tell us? It actually sounds quite infamous from the people that talk about it, right?
Actually was.
Now, can you tell us about when starting the Mucky Duck, the reasons for opening it, and when you opened it, and where?
Right, okay. Well, I don't want to be dramatic about it, but I went there because the car trade was not happening, and my brother had left, and Davey was the driving force for the cars, as in he was a brilliant mechanic, and I was not a bad mechanic, but following on him.
Yeah.
And he left and went and done his own thing, so I was left a bit stranded, and it wasn't happening. So out of the blue, I do not know why, but I thought, and I got a place in Shotts, of all places. However, a lot of Shotts boys and girls are still great friends of mine, and I'll tell you the lie, right just now, I'll say it in front of everybody, anybody. Joe Snr could have drank the Mucky Duck and you wouldn't have noticed him, because every guy was trying to dress and look like Joe Snr. Am I telling a lie, Nick?
No, absolutely. No. Yeah, they were a big influence.
Shotts, for all people have a wee bit of a laugh about a place like that, I'm telling you just now, they boys and girls, the ones who went to our pub, the Mucky Duck, I'm telling you, they were cool.
Yeah.
They had taste. They were listening to good music from the word go.
Mm-hmm.
They were listening to Steve Earle. They were listening to Dwight Yoakam. They were listening to Run DMC. They were listening to The Clash, etc. They were the first people right on the ball. Mm-hmm. And even though some of the good Glasgow bands, the Postcard Records, all just, they were a bit too wimpy for Shotts.
So
even though they were talented, those boys.
Why did you pick Shotts?
I don't know.
You don't know? You just,
no idea.
So you just saw the
Never
pub
been
for
in it in my
sale?
life. Never been in it in my life.
And was Shotts not like a kind of, it's obviously
it was a mining town.
Mining town,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And when did you open up the Mucky Duck?
Maybe that been like 82.
Yeah, 82, 83, yeah.
Right. And was it still quite healthy in terms of like the kind of area?
Well, no, actually, it was just at the time of when Thatcher was shutting down the mines before it. So it was a time of strife, you know, the strikes and such like,
Aye.
you know.
Next very right. Said
So
that.
it was in Thatcher's Britain, truly, like,
So you
you
opened
know.
up bang in the middle.
No, I opened up the year before it.
The year before it.
Right. So don't take up my advice in business. No, not the year before the miners striking shots, and everybody was skint.
Yeah.
So see, can you, now I have no idea, right, how this place looked, right? Nick, I presume you could remember, even though you're a
Yes.
toddler, right? Can you just tell us, Nick, Mickey, tell us what the Mucky Duck looked like? What was it like inside? What was...
It sat on its own.
Right, so
It sat on its own.
then.
Right. And Shorts is in basically two hills,
Right,
and there's a valley.
right.
So up there,
Spring Hill.
Spring Hill, up there,
Dykehead.
Dykehead,
Yeah.
and down there in the middle. And being honest, near the twain met, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And being honest, being in the middle, a lot of boys and girls, I think, were very fed up with what they were getting served up.
What was getting served up?
Nothing.
Nothing.
Crap.
Yeah.
Crap.
Yeah.
Nothing going on.
Nothing going on.
Right.
And I think they were well up for something happening. I swear to God, I didn't go in with any smart arse intentions. I don't know. It was just, I done everything in a wing and a
What
prayer.
age were you?
Age would I be? What's 1980? Would I have been
Right, so 31,
32, 33?
32,
Something
right.
like that. 33.
And you had too many kids?
Two.
Two kids?
Yeah.
At 32, you opened up
Yeah.
a bar,
Yeah.
club,
Yeah.
So,
venue.
I mean, what would have been the first sort of bit? Because the venue became known as a live music venue
Without a
with
doubt.
people coming out from Glasgow
Yeah,
to it. But
yeah.
what was the first sort of bands? I mean, there was good DJs in it.
I'm going to mention
Willie
that.
Duffy we would
I've
give
got
a
to
shout
mention them.
out to, who did, I would say, was like a John Peel type, you know, and on Friday night, bringing in the first records. I mean, I remember hearing Run DMC for the first time, Beastie Boys,
Dead
Public
Kennedys.
Enemy, Dead Kennedys, obviously like the Clash, but
Yep.
very, very on it with music.
We had three great DJs, I thought. One was a Glasgow kind of Scottish bands, on the ball, always New Romantics, etc. Peaky, a great friend of mine to this day.
Yeah.
A great DJ. He knew more about music than people ever imagined, and a good guy. His was a Saturday night. That was him. He was a Saturday night, and it suited brilliant. He was brilliant at his job. There was a boy, Jerry Carson, who passed away, who was well on the ball.
Mhm.
Trust me, well on the ball. A wee bit more disco.
Yeah.
And there was Willie Duffy, still a great friend, who was very, 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 very on the ball. He would have been like a Clash boy from the word go. You know what I mean? And he was bringing a wee bit more adventurous music.
Yeah.
But the boys and girls in Shorts got it right away.
So what would have been the first bands then that you started
Well,
to
it was
put on?
very obvious, Nick. It was very straightforward. The first bands we really done were the Bad Men,
Mhm.
local boys, Whiskey Go Go, and what was the other boys? Behind the Glass,
Yeah.
John Connolly and McGurk.
Yeah.
And they were brilliant.
Yeah.
But they were quite influenced by the Glasgow scene
Mhm.
and maybe the Clash a bit.
Mhm.
So that was it. And then there was a guy who contacted me, Graham Duffin, I think his name was, an Edinburgh guy who promoted. He got a bad rep, but I got on great with him. And he contacted me quite straightforwardly. He said, Nicky, I'm bringing up they're doing Glasgow University or Queen Margaret Union, Edinburgh University, Stirling. They're free on the Thursday or they're free on the Sunday.
This was
What band would that be?
Pogues.
What
Pogues?
band?
I'll tell you, that's what I'm going to come to.
Okay.
Right? He would say to us, I'm bringing these boys up. They've got a Thursday night free and a Sunday night free. Aye, okay. Much are they? Oh, they're £1,200. Well, nonsense, can't afford that. Look, they'll do it for £400 because it was money in their pocket
Mhm.
and that was covering their eckies. Travelling. That's the truth. No, I don't mean eckies. I don't mean eckies as in drugs.
What
I
do you
mean expenses.
All right.
That's
That
a
was
lot.
what? That's 1983.
Yeah.
That's
See, the
early.
thing is, though, I wasn't even shocked when you said that, to be honest with you. I wasn't even shocked.
Well, we used to bring up, and Nick will confirm this, he saw them. King Kurt, who we didn't get on with.
Which was psychobilly stuff.
Yeah, we didn't get on with them. They were the only band that ever came up to the Mucky Duck that weren't nice. We didn't get on with. And I've just took a wee note, John Otway.
Yeah.
Sensational.
Yeah.
Death Fights Cajun Aces.
Yeah.
LaRue.
Yeah.
Sensational. Hank Wankford.
Yeah.
The Restless. The Blueberry Hellbellies.
Yeah.
Ron Kavanagh. His Latest Flame.
Yeah.
Planet Pop. Blues and Trouble.
Yeah.
Elaborate.
Also, 80s bands. I mean, that ranges from. So the music would have been, His Latest Flame would have been like Glasgow kind of 80s sort of
Orange Juicy.
postcard sort of pop. But then there was like Cajun bands as well. John Otway would have been like punk,
Stiff
new
Records.
wave sort of stuff, you know. So it was a wide range of sort of stuff.
Yep. My personal favourites was in your 30s. I think them and Alex Harvey were the two greatest bands ever came out of Scotland, in my opinion, and they've never been appreciated. To this day, I thought they were so far ahead of the game, and I got them, and they went down okay. Okay. They're lovely guys, and of course I brought up the Pogues.
Yeah,
which is really, I suppose, the one people want to know about.
Let's
move on to the Pogues then.
Let's go to that. How the hell did you book this? So, were you the first person to book the Pogues in Scotland?
I was the first person to bring them up to Scotland as the Pogues.
As the Pogues.
They had supported Elvis Costello a little bit earlier in the Queen Margaret Union or something like that.
Right, okay.
Right.
How did you meet them? How did this
Just
come
met
about?
up with them.
Just met them, cool.
And we heard about them, and we kind of a wee bit got obsessed a bit.
Yeah, I think I'll refresh your memory. You went down to, you heard the first album.
Yeah.
And you went down to Manchester and possibly Hull as well.
Hull.
When they were still playing in pubs.
Yes.
Out with London.
Correct.
They had a bigger following in London.
Yes.
They were still a pub band.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I asked them down in Manchester. We took a chance. It was at the Ender Club. And I don't know how we got away with it. We marched across the stage, went in the back where they were counting money, and went in the back and spoke to them. And we ended up friends instantly.
Yeah.
Were you wanting to book?
We just couldn't believe what they were like. This was different.
Was this the time when you had the Mucky Duck already, or did you get them before you opened up the Mucky Duck?
I had the Mucky Duck.
Were you wanting to book them, or did you just want to hang about?
I never considered it, but when I was down there, I said to them right away, I said, would you think of coming up? And James Fernley said, yeah, I think we would. Shane was doing his own thing. Spoke to Spider, and Spider was, as to this day, my friend. And so is James, and so is Jem. But Spider was really a friend, and they went like that. Why not? Because Spider was the leader of the Pogues. He kept them together. He was the one that believed that the Pogues could make it. No doubt about it. He was the one, James, I'll tell you, he was the one that believed in them more than anybody else. Anyway, we got them booked. Honestly, I sold out 200 people upstairs on the Saturday night, 200 people on the Sunday night. I sold it out 2 nights. Couldn't believe we sold it out. Like, quid a ticket.
So they played the Friday and Sunday?
Yeah.
No. Saturday and Sunday. They didn't.
So this is just, it was right before, the first album was out, but it was right before
Rum Sodomy
and the last, or second album.
Right.
And they were just really, they
got
played,
a cult following.
They played the Barrowlands a few months later.
Yeah.
Sold out.
Can I ask you how much you paid them?
I think, I'm guessing this now, I think back in the day, it would be £1,200 for the weekend, if you know what I mean. So I got £800 right away in. So I knew it was safe, because I knew the pub would be mobbed on the Friday night. I knew it would be mobbed on the Saturday and Saturday night, and I knew it would be mobbed on the Sunday and the Sunday night. And so it transpired. Trust me, I was worried sick, because by this time I knew them, and I thought, they'll set off from London with good intentions and get waylaid halfway up and forget to come up. But sure enough, they showed up about 10 o'clock on the Friday night. They came in the pub, and that was it. And then the Saturday, they were in all day. I mean, the Pogues to this day said it was, in fact, I swear to God, Spider and Jem said to me at the last 3-4 weeks ago, said to me backstage, he said, Nicky, when we came up to the Mucky Duck, he said, it is one of the most important gigs we ever done because we were out our comfort zone.
Mm-hmm.
He said, we were coming up saying, should we be doing this?
Mm-hmm.
He said, but we sort of liked you and we thought, no, it'd be no fair to let them down. And they came up and done it. And he said, it's hugely influential in their life.
Mm-hmm.
Now, that sounds corny,
Mm-hmm.
but that's what, I mean, why would Jem tell us a lie? Why would Spider tell us a lie? You know what I mean? And he said it was the first place, pardon me, where guys bought me a drink. He said they didn't want either to get off with me or get in the gig for nothing.
Mm-hmm.
He said that was how people, boys for shots, you know, like that. If they're in the mood, by God, they're generous, they're money, that's it. You know what I mean? And Elvis Costello came up as well, but
On the set, for that.
he came up, he was trying to get off with Kate, the bass player.
Really,
That's
married.
really what he came up for.
Yeah.
And
They
he's,
got married.
They got married, aye.
yeah. And the wee story is, of course, Elvis Costello went upstairs to get in. It's a wee story, a wee side story that came in when the Pogues were playing, right? And it was wee Mool was the
Old school
bouncer,
bouncers.
and Winky were the two bouncers, so good bouncers, right? Trust me. Right? And they went like, got it, pal, ticket. Oh, I don't have a ticket. No. £4. They went like, oh, Elvis Costello. And wee Mool went, don't give a fuck if you're Elvis Presley. £4. And they get £4 out of him. To get in. It's like a myth, but it's not a myth. That's a true story.
Probably true.
Yeah.
Which were you in this song?
But 15, aye. I was at both the concerts, aye.
You're pretty much
Yeah.
aware of
Yeah.
it.
I took Nick. I regret not going, but of course Nick was young and I was a wee bit out of it. Not out of it as in out the loop.
Yeah.
And I took you through to Edinburgh to see Big Audio Dynamite.
Yeah.
I remember dropping you off. Was it you, Ronnie?
Yeah, it was a couple of our friends. Yeah.
And I dropped you off. I came back and picked you up.
Yeah.
And thinking back, God, I should have gone.
Well,
I went
yeah,
that your night, you know.
Certainly that was a gig. I mean, that was probably 1987.
Yeah.
And Adamski was supporting them, and that was the first time. So that was the first time I'd heard sort of acid house, you know. That's it.
See, the Mucky Duck then. When did the way that we now see clubs and DJing? When did that start to kind of get filtered in?
So that, yeah. So
well, I was sorry.
You were buying. I mean, it was actually because you were DJing and you were actually buying early records, house records.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was actually.
Because you bought like sort of new wave, sort of disco, you know, through the 80s.
Pretty much your dad's kept up.
Yeah.
Every.
And still does, yeah.
Every sound that's been happening since the 60s.
I like music, and I never leave behind what I liked. I've never left behind Robbie Hooker. I've never left behind Otis Redding. Never in a million years. But I was always game enough.
Try new stuff.
Aye. And of course Nick and Dom influenced us because they were playing stuff, and I was going bloody good. I mean, and therefore I went to maybe 23rd Precinct or Echo or something like that and bought records.
Yeah.
One I regret to this day is Shoot the Pump. I keep going on about it, but I remember buying it.
New York records. Yeah.
Fabulous. And anything you try and get, and it's not the right recording. It's not the recording I had. Anyway, so yeah. And Nick and Dom went on and on and on about guys called Street Rave. And I was going, okay. And I eventually got Street Rave to play, and that would be John Mancini, Ricky McGowan, Yogi,
Boney, Ricky McGowan.
They were dead nice guys, I remember. But it was Nick and Dom, especially Nick, because he was just that little bit older.
Which were you when you started DJing there?
16.
No, I think it would have been. I think it would have been about. Well, certainly the first when Street Rave played, I think I would have been 18.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we got them into the Duck, and then it turned into a rave.
Well, I remember getting them, and I'm not stupid, I got it right away. But I remember the boys, because they were used to what I was bringing out, right? So they were a wee bit hesitant. But I'll tell you, by the time the second and third one came along, they were all loving it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, again, give them credit. They got it. Might have been a week later, or 2 weeks later, or 3 weeks later, but they got it.
Yeah.
And they're into it. So the Scots has never been slow, ever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The Mucky Duck was very much a live band venue.
Yeah.
It was a club, and it was a club for us.
Aye.
And it was busy, but it was for the bands.
It was for
really.
bands.
We done it really for the bands. I really kind of always liked that, you know.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it was the miners' strike, and everybody within 2.5 years was.
But you
Skid.
know, like, I mean, the very definition of what a club is a place where people regularly go. That's the ultimate definition of a club.
Yeah.
No, I mean, so it is a club. Do you know what I mean? But Nick, so I think it's a good time to tell us how McChuills came about. How did McChuills come about? Because it's been going for how long now?
About 30 years.
32. 1993. So 32, 33 years.
So how? So you
I was
obviously.
coming. It was Christmas Day, right? And I'd been to Mass, and I was coming over to my sister's for Christmas dinner, and I drove by here. I'm a terrible person for wandering about and looking at places that I remember. Terrible for doing that, but there you go. And I went by this area, and I drove by here, and I saw the candle rigs, and I thought, oh, it's a good place. And I went, like, after the New Year, the offices opened, and I contacted them to see about a pub in it. And the guy said, aye. And I just went, okay. And I went and I got it. And it was just an empty shell. I had to build a wall. I had to build that wall to define it from...
That one there?
Well, you know what I mean? Not round the corner in Candle Rigs.
Yeah, it was the first one was in Candle Rigs.
Oh, right, yeah.
It was absolutely... It was just a big, huge shell. And I built the first wall. I remember it. And I'd £400. You know what I mean? And I was promised £60,000 for the Brewers, I think it was, which they never ever gave us it. They never changes again us it, but they done what they liked, and eventually they got it down to I accepted £20,000 from them, which meant it was going to shut. The day it opened, I knew it was going to shut.
Right.
Couldn't make it, but it was impossible because I'd already spent like £35,000 or something like that. It was impossible to make it work. But I stupidly haven't got much brains, and I'm kind of one of those people that go, oh, it'll work, oh, it'll work, oh, it'll work. And so I opened and I thought, well, one thing I thought, if I could get established, then you never know what might happen. And in truth, that's what happened. I managed to keep it going for a year and a half before they actually came and chipped me out. And I came here, thanks to a friend of mine, Billy. I managed to get in here, and we done all right. Nick's taken it to another level. Nick Handel, I've taken it to another level. I'm glad to say, thank God. Much cleverer than I am. I'm much more on the ball. But that doesn't matter. We done what we done. You know what I mean? And I had balls. I done it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No matter what anybody says, I had balls and done it. Too much, actually. And as much as I kidded on myself that it would work. You know what I mean? But here eventually it does. There you go.
Yeah.
So there you go.
And I mean, so there was always an ethos of acceptance in McCuills. I mean, you know, because I guess, you know, there was all different people in it, all different musical genres, all that type of thing. How did that sort of...
Well, I think that stems really from getting a lesson from the Mucky Duck, where we went into a place that was quite divid. And yet there was a meeting of boys and girls who just got it.
Yeah.
And I always believed that the Mucky Duck was good, but McChuills could have been more inclusive.
Mhm.
We done music. I had no problem with. I got on good. Remember, the first person we employed was a girl. Never a problem. Ever. We were very inclusive, and we got it. And like the Mucky Duck, but in a bigger scale because it was Glasgow,
Mhm.
the people that get it got it.
Mhm.
I mean, I've got no problem with people not liking McChuills. I can understand why they don't.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you, the ones that get it, it's their family.
Yeah, there's certainly there's not many left, you know, of bars, music venues like this. You
It's the
know, I
real deal.
guess. Yeah.
And here's the real deal. And you can be yourself. I mean, there's totally
I
different
mean, the
types.
kind of honesty, isn't that? I mean, like,
Yeah.
see, I mean, surely that stems from yourself, like, you know.
I
Yeah.
don't know,
I
that's,
mean, like,
you
you
know,
know, I don't know. Of course, it's kind of.
Well, you're the one getting interviewed,
I
so
know.
it does stem from you.
Like, I mean, just in my experience of, you know, engaging with you, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, there's a kind of authenticity and a kindness, and there's no bullshit, basically. You know what I mean? There's no bullshit, just very straight up, you know, and I think
Yeah.
perhaps that's what comes across, you know,
Well,
over the venue in
I
terms of
hope
its
you're right, and I
vibe,
hope I'm
you
right.
know?
But I'm not telling a lie saying this.
Yeah,
It has been moved on 3 or 4 levels,
yeah.
thanks to my boys.
Well, they're
Simple as that.
obviously-
Well,
And that's a fact.
yeah.
It's a
But,
fact. It's a fact. It's a fact, Nick.
but
no, I know, but it wouldn't have been McCool's otherwise. You know what I mean?
Well,
And you're still here every day. You know.
well, yes. I will say
people
this.
text about and stuff like that.
Aye.
People, sometimes I annoy people because I talk, right? And I know I do. But
You're in an interview situation, so talk away.
Nice to
yes,
talk.
well, I'm going to talk.
It's nice to share. It's nice
I
to
was
talk.
brought up. I mean, I go home at night. I'm perfectly happy to sit quiet. Trust me,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, absolutely.
But it's my job.
Yeah,
My job was to make everybody welcome.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I talk too much.
Not at all.
No, I do, because I think, well, I better that guy, a wee guy that stays in Springburn, that comes in and buys 2 pints of lager every day. He'll be in the news probably. So you talk to him. You don't just go, aye, right, pal. No,
Oh,
no, because he comes back, and I've done that for the word. Davy Dick was my first customer I ever had, and he still comes in to this day.
yeah.
There
Yeah.
you go.
Yeah.
And he walked by, and I spoke. I'll tell you a quick one though. I've changed it slightly. I used to, when I first opened up, I used to have the tables, and I would get 4 beer into them, 4 or 5, and I would go like that with the beer, to have a ring, and I would put them down, there'd be that much, and if 2 or 3 people come in, or 2 people come in, I would go over and go, oh, sorry, pal, I'm just taking them away. There was a dozen people in there, there was a laugh, what a laugh we had, it was great.
Just been named
There
in.
was nobody in. I was just making it up, just to show that people, when they come in and go, well, there's nobody here, it must be crap.
Aye.
Do you
Yeah,
know,
I mean-
do you know, Nick, I think this is probably a good point to just kind of ask you if you've got any advice or any wisdom or just anything you would say to people about, the way, a good way to be to people. You know, you've just
Not be
mentioned it,
cynical.
not be cynical.
Not be cynical. Don't laugh at people,
Yeah.
because they might be making mistakes. Don't do it to them.
Yeah,
Don't do it to nice people, because you don't know people's worries.
yeah,
So don't, if somebody comes in, I don't know one person in my life, not including my dad, who was the nicest man in the world, hasn't made an ass of things.
hmm
But we all try and move on from it. We all try and improve. We all try and find something in our life that's good. So don't be cynical. I don't say, accept people for what they are, but you have to actually accept people for what they are. Just don't be cynical. Don't bring people down. Try your damnedest to bring people up. And I'll tell you no lie, it's, I think that's what to do. Believe in yourself.
yeah,
I don't know if this is good advice or not, but persevere. You know, there's a friend I know who doesn't persevere and he's done very well for himself. But equally, I think there's nothing more satisfying, like so for young Nick, to take the place that was not bad to make it better. That's perseverance. And I think he'll get more pleasure out of that than somebody that said 4 or 5 places that have worked and half a dozen places that haven't. You know what I mean? I think that's my opinion, right? So I think perseverance and don't be cynical. Don't be cynical, don't. You know what I mean? Cynicism is not a nice thing. I don't think. And it's sure, we can all be cynical. Well, somebody can be cynical with me, but
Yeah.
you don't need it. You don't need it in your life. Is that it?
I think that's it. Thank you. Nick, do you want
Is that overdoing it?
A bit.
Guys.
Sorry,
Too
did I
cynical.
overdo it there?
Sorry.
No, not at all, not at all. Look, look,
I
look,
don't know.
it's been such an honour
But
to
you get a wee bit emotional
No,
eventually, you know.
we all get emotional at the end, don't we?
Aye.
Look, Nick,
that was great.
Thank
Was
you,
Yeah.
Okay.
thank you so much, Nick. Okay.
Okay.
Guys, like you heard it there. What an inspiration, and thank you so much for telling us your story. And that was episode 6 of
I just remembered.
the podcast. Yeah.